Hey friends, welcome to our third video on house churches. Today we're going to be talking about invitation. Before we do though, I want to ask you, what is one hobby or interest that you have? For me, it's something like bicycling. I love bicycling. Do you have something like that you're interested in? And more importantly, my follow-up question, how did you first get involved in that hobby? How did you first become interested? When I ask this question to most people, it's interesting. Nearly all of them mention someone else who is integral in them becoming interested or involved in that hobby. For me, cycling was through a family member. My aunt and uncle and cousins were big into mountain biking, and they invited me to come and take part with them to be included and go biking. And so I started mountain biking with them, and from there I kind of grew up in the Tour de France era with Lance Armstrong, and I got interested in road cycling, and I've been doing that ever since. I'm also interested in baseball. When I look at the history of that for me, my dad loved baseball, my grandfather loved baseball. It's been something that's been passed down from father to son, very common with baseball and many other sports at that. I don't just mention these, though, to point out, this interesting characteristic of how we become involved in things, but to amplify the importance of invitation. Because invitation doesn't just invite someone to become involved with an activity or an event or an interest. It invites them into your life. And in the church, we talk about invitation from time to time, but most often we rely on announcements and advertisements. We let people know in a large group format that something is going on, and we expect that they'll come and show up and be part. But the thing that I found time and time again is that advertisement and announcements let people know about something, but invitation is what actually brings them in to allow them to be a part. And it's so much more powerful. If you look across the board at all things in church, you're going to find the invitation is the number one thing that gets people involved, that allows them to be a part. For the Alpha course, which is something that I've done a number of times, their statistics routinely show that between 80 and 90% of the people who get involved with an Alpha course and take part were personally invited by somebody else. For those who actually come and become a part of a church who weren't churchgoers before, it's like the same numbers, like in the 80 to 90% range. Who were invited. That's how they became a part. Same thing goes for our house churches that we're doing. I've challenged you the last couple weeks to be inviting and think about who are you going to invite. The people that are in your spheres of neighbors and family and friends, co-workers, people that you're already kind of have opened up your social distancing to. You're engaging with them some already, and they're natural people to invite to be a part of your group. But I'm coming back on it. I'm mentioning it again because it's so very important. And maybe like me, you've had people that you've asked to come and be a part who've said, I'm sorry, I can't be a part, or I'm just not comfortable in this time. We've had some families who have a newborn with some potential health risks who have said, we're just not comfortable yet. But the amazing thing was that after they said, but we are so thankful that you would open your house to us, that you would include us and think of inviting us. That's the important part about invitation that I think we so often skip over. And why I'm encouraging it again is that it's not just an invitation to, again, be a part of an event or activity. It's an invitation to join you in your life, an invitation to relationship. And that lets people know that they are valued, that they're important, that they are loved. Things that are just so incredibly Christian, right? It can feel like when we invite someone to something that maybe we're putting like a burden on their plate, right? Like, oh, yeah, they're going to feel like they have to do this out of obligation or something. But I think most of the time it really comes across in a very different way. It instead comes across as that you value me, you notice me, you want to include me. It's through the simple act of invitation that people who are on the periphery of our life become friends. They come further and further in relationally. And I believe that we as Christians are called to be bridge builders between ourselves and them, and that would be a way that they're connecting with Jesus Christ and that they're connecting with the church as a community of faith, following after Jesus together. Again, that is why we are doing house churches, because we believe that at the core, we are called to follow Jesus and to follow Jesus together. So again, who are you going to invite? Who have you invited? What challenges have you faced in invitation? And maybe what lies have you believed about invitation that have kept you from being more invitational in your life in general and with house churches? Hey, thanks again for listening. I am so thankful for what you are doing, that you have taken a step of faith to be involved in this, to be a leader in many ways, connecting other people to the church and to Jesus. I'm continuing to pray for you, and again, so thankful for you.